Today on Hidden Secrets Revealed Live, why you need pain and suffering. Roll the intro. The idea is simple. Every day I go live for about 10 minutes. We discuss digital marketing and we discuss other things because within our talk, I reveal the hidden secrets of the universe in the process as an added bonus. You're welcome. My name is Sean Allen Fenn. You're watching Hidden Secrets Revealed live. My mini live podcast, micro podcast, if you will. Why you need pain and suffering. There's this question some people have about suffering. There's religions based off of it. I don't know every little facet of the Buddhist religion, but they, from what I understand, have this concept about suffering, and the goal is to eliminate suffering, alleviate suffering. But we need suffering, so it's not going to happen. One of the guys that I'm not the smartest guy in the world, so I have to go to other people to get my information. One of the guys I really listen to is this guy named Ray Dalio. Maybe you've heard of him. He's a really interesting guy. He's the founder of this hedge fund, Bridgewater. He has a set of principles. I should have got my book before I went on. Hang on a second. Don't go anywhere. Okay. This guy. This book. One of my favorite books. Principles by Ray Dalio. If you haven't seen this yet, this is required reading. If you haven't read it yet, highly recommend it. I want the camera to see it. This is a great book. The idea with this is Ray Dalio has a set of principles that he lives by, that he built his business on, that he applies to life. He's a very important person. And one of the principles that he has is pain plus reflection equals progress. So I didn't make this up. I'm just the messenger here. I'm just delivering this to you because it's really cool stuff that everyone should know about. See, I take advice from billionaires. I tend to not take advice, or I tend to not take it too seriously from people who aren't billionaires. So when a billionaire gives me some jewels of information, I like to apply it and find ways to apply it. Pain plus reflection equals progress. So what does that mean? This is fundamental to everything from your messaging and your advertising and marketing to your day-to-day life, to getting what you want in life, to getting the best results from people, from yourself. Nothing happens until you feel pain. Something crazy about me is I like to make myself very uncomfortable, and I've done it. And I do that because I need to bring out my ideal person. I need to bring out the best version of myself. And I can't do that if I'm complacent, and I can't do that if I'm comfortable. It doesn't happen. So we need this pain, this discomfort to make any changes. Ladies and gentlemen, I went through a time in my life where I was in a really dark place. And I was in such a dark place that it was unbearable. And when I looked at what I had done to myself, it was like, this, there's no way out of this. And I felt that pain. And if I hadn't felt that pain, I would not have changed. Same thing with reaching your customers. They have a pain point and you have to find out what that is. If there's no pain, there's no sale. Write that down. If there's no pain, there's no sale. I worked as a telemarketer for a while, selling Life Alert. And if you don't know what Life Alert is, it's this system where the "I've fallen and I can't get up" commercials, that's their slogan. "I've fallen and I can't get up." It's this system that helps senior citizens to get help when they need it. When they get injured, it sends help right away. It ties into the emergency hospital system, and they have helped lots of people. My goal when I worked there was to, in one phone call, to be a one-call closer, to close a sale in one call. So how it worked is they would broadcast their commercials on TV, and senior citizens were watching TV, and they would show the "I've fallen and I can't get up" commercial. And then when they showed that commercial, senior citizens and families of those who need this system would call the number, and they would call, and it would be directed to me. That's where the calls would come into the call center. So they'd run the commercials and they would get the calls. Great system. I mean, the way they run their business is interesting. I mean, I don't know if it's interesting anymore because they have some competitors that are probably dangerous to their business. But anyway, another subject, to get back on the subject. So they would air these commercials and people would call in, and my job was to close the sale. Usually it was just a matter of like allowing the sale. Like they already wanted to buy. Most of the time they already wanted it because something happened. The more painful the situation, the more likely they were to buy. The more injury and trauma, the more likely they were to buy. The less injury and trauma, the less likely they were to buy because they have other options. When you have only one option, you're highly likely to take action. You get it? So that was the thing. So I would get these calls and I would have to close the sale. I was terrible at it, but I was excited to be able to do this. I know I'm crazy. I'm weird. I like to make myself feel uncomfortable. So anyway, my point is the pain of that system, or the pain of that situation, motivated people to take action and buy this Life Alert system. And the calls that I didn't close were more often than not people who didn't really have that bad of a problem. So we need that pain. We need to look for that pain in our life. What's painful? What needs to change? One reason why I do this, I go live like this, I help people as much as I can. One reason I'm motivated to help as many people as I can with whatever power I have within me to do is, at some point I recognized that I had a painful situation that needed to change. This was after my this sort of existential crisis. I kind of got through that. Glory to God. I'm going to get spiritual on you. It was because of Jesus, because of Yeshua, that I was able to break free of a lot of junk and get my life back together. However, then that was only the first step because I had to get my money right. It took me a while to realize what was the real problem. I mean, besides the spiritual and character issues, the problem was at one point I went back to school, and it was late in life that I went back to school. And when I did that, I realized why I didn't finish school in the first place was because I didn't know how to pay for it. I didn't have that work ethic required to get the money to pay for it. And I'm saying this to tell you that I recognize this pain when I went back to school because I thought that was the answer. Because I had been working this retail job. Now, thank God, I'm not working that same kind of retail job because after this pandemic, like that job is gone. However, it wasn't gone at that time. At that time, there was possibly a future in it. And I recognized that I couldn't get where I wanted to be financially by working this retail job, getting paid by the hour. At least if that was the only thing I did, there's no way it was going to happen. There was no way I would ever get unstuck financially. And I didn't know what else to do. I needed the resources. I needed some new knowledge. So I went back to school, got into more debt. College is great for some people. My standing is if you want to be a doctor or a lawyer, a surgeon, you better go to school because no one's going to let you operate on them if you don't have a degree and you didn't go to school for surgery. If you want to be a dentist and you just kind of take an online class to be a dentist, you're probably not going to get a lot of people that trust you to operate on their teeth. But aside from that, if you're like the rest of us who want to be entrepreneurs and want to create a product or service, bring it to the marketplace, college isn't for everyone. And I didn't have all the information back then, but I felt the pain of like, I need something. I need to know. I need some more skills. I need to do something else. I felt that pain. And then when that schooling didn't work out because I didn't know how to pay for it again, like got the student loans, and I was like, wait a minute, this only goes so far. Oh my God, I'm revealing a lot to you guys. But that's what artists do. We reveal stuff. Artists, entrepreneurs. That's who I am. I believe that's who you are. You wouldn't be paying attention right now. But I had to feel that pain. I had to say, look, my money isn't right. I'm back here to square one. Like after going back to school and realizing I didn't know how to pay for the school stuff, and the prospect of getting a job that paid enough to take care of the student loan debt, it just wasn't realistic in terms of the numbers. The numbers didn't match. So I had to figure out, like, what is this money thing all about? What am I getting wrong? And I went down the rabbit hole. I got one of Robert Kiyosaki's books, was my first book. He wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad. This is not an endorsement. This is not a criticism. This is none of that. This is just stating my story. But I got one of his books, I think it was a Cash Flow Quadrant. And it just opened up this complete new world that I didn't understand before. I'm like, oh, I need to become an investor. I need to get away from being an employee and start owning my business, start owning things, start owning assets. And it changed my whole paradigm, my whole perspective. So, make a long story even longer. How I got into marketing was because of this realization. Like, that I needed to get my money right, and I needed to find entrepreneurs and find other people who also are trying to do something in the world, make a difference in the world. And I went to a conference and discovered this world of digital marketing, entrepreneurship, and that led me to realize that I was really good at this digital marketing thing. I got it. There's a lot of stuff I needed to know, but still, it was definitely in my lane. So I started seeking out entrepreneurs who I knew in my network who I could help, and just little by little, we grew this thing. And then I have to now I partner with an agency, because I realized doing it on my own was not a good idea. So I partner with an agency now, and we get our partners double their ideal customers in half the time than they would without our proprietary data. The company is called Pipeline Communications. If you want to know more, send me a message. Leave the word "more" in my DMs or comments. So I'll wrap this up by telling you guys, you have to recognize the pain of your situation and put yourself in your buyer's shoes. Recognize their pain. What are they going through? How can you address pain and suffering? And yes, how can you alleviate it? First, you have to discover it. So that's my story. I'll leave you guys with that. Let me know if you want me to get more personal like this, or what, or if you want me to shut up. You can tell me that too. You can tell me to go jump in a lake. You can tell me that too. You're allowed. This is an open forum. All right. I love you guys. Be amazing.